just out of curiosity, what's like the lifespan of like an octopus?
I think because there's a lot of different species. I think
On average.
I want to say that it's not as long as you would think.
Okay.
But,
So
it is years though.
I think it's like 8 years or something.
Is
Like
it?
some
Okay,
of the smaller ones. Yeah.
So that's really short.
Yeah.
So they're not octopi.
Which also just means more generations to like
Optimize.
maybe number of generations.
They're,
evolution's
they're optimizing
to
faster.
evolve,
Yeah.
Shorter
Absolutely.
lifespan means.
Because the longer your
Means
lifespan is, the
generational
less iterations you get.
Changes
Yeah.
are going to happen.
Yeah.
quicker.
So like that's why
Well, I was thinking.
microscopic
I mean, it
organisms
takes
evolve really fast.
it takes a very long time to travel from point A to point B in the solar system. So, for us, we look at that and we're like, "Holy fuck! It's going to take forever to get to Mars." But if you take something that lives forever, that lives a long ass time, maybe immortal, then that isn't a long time.
Well, like you were talking about, some species of animals have like
Don't crocodiles live a really long time?
crocodiles live for like 150 years or something. That's how
crazy.
long we know that they live for. But they might not have an end either. They're like, they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. I think until they can no longer find enough food and then they just die. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Makes sense. Like at a certain point, the bigger you are, the more calories per day you need. There's only so many hours in a day.
And your like river might not be big enough to like hide in anymore, and you're just like, oh.
Even an infinite river with infinite food, at some point, like you'd be so big that you would have to be eating more than you, like even if fish were just going into your mouth, you had to move to get to them. Yeah. At some point, stops adding up.
I guess like you end up with like people have done experiments or the math with the with like dinosaurs too, like how big theoretically could a dinosaur get before like it's like reaches like a size limitation and it just can't get any bigger because like a land animal, your arms like have to hold you up, your arms and your legs like so like at some point like you look at like an elephant and its legs are like a pillar.
Oh yeah, just physically.
They don't look like a normal animal anymore. It's because they get so large that you need to have such like amount of mass to hold you up that it morphologically changes you into like
even just to respirate, right? Like
that's another thing too.
Just to support respiration, which is I think why like prehistoric animals are so much larger because the atmosphere is a lot thicker.
There's more oxygen.
Like there's bugs that were 3 feet across. They just can't survive anymore.
Which is kind of weird. Like bugs have a lot of evolutionary iterations. Like you would kind of think they would develop a better breathing mechanism. Like, because like their size limitation is really just because they breathe through pores on their legs.
They're just like a sloshing of blood on the inside.
Yeah.
Holes that the blood can't get in,
the
air can get in.
Like
and they don't have like a lung system.
Like, which you would think though, like you know, like pesticides, you just keep hitting them with a pesticide. And they die or whatever, and like eventually they just don't die anymore because they're like, oh, like one of them's mutant, and now
and then now
like,
that's the bug.
Wouldn't you think that not having enough oxygen to get as large as a human being would do like kind of the same thing evolutionarily? Like you have this whole niche you can't explore because you're like
I think we only figured out how bugs breathe like 30 years ago.
I mean, they're
something
really
evolved
hard
from bugs,
to like
probably.
Well, there's like all the like lobsters and crabs and stuff are just giant sea bugs. Like
I was reading this thing the other day that what was it called? Like a co something evolution.
Yeah.
I'm not learned.
Conspirator.
Basically, like 12 or 15 that we know of, different types of animals. I don't know, genus or whatever. Like some like different animals.
Okay.
Have a offshoot that has evolved back into a crab. Like,
everything evolves back into crabs.
It's apparently crab is like
That's
the perfect. Like it's
crazy.
Like there's tons of animals that eventually evolve into a crab.
That's so weird. Yeah,
that's really
it's like
weird.
a hard shell. Your body is made of a hard shell.
Yeah.
You have
8 legs.
Grabbers and 8 legs is apparently the right amount of legs.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because I wonder if it's because you could lose 2 and you're still good.
Yeah.
You could really lose 4,
and then
still all right.
You've got a couple arms.
Then you grab things and you eat things. And you're covered in a hard shell, and like it's
pretty.
You can
nuts.
pretty much survive anywhere. Like,
I mean, they're pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like,
we probably live in a universe just full of crabs.
Yeah.
It's mostly crabs.
Well, I mean, we eat them, right?
Yeah, I mean they're like
we're not the only.
I feel like if you're like not if you don't have hands though, they'd be hard to eat.
Nothing else.
Right?
Yeah. Mandibles.
Yeah. You have to crush them.
Like a shark could eat a crab, but they probably don't even want to. They're like, wow, there's this soft ass fish over here.
Yeah.
Just munch on them.
there's also
I
like
can see that.
Yeah.
the meat in a crab, the amount of calories you get for the work you're doing is
it's like a
almost
pomegranate.
none.
Like, maybe once every 3 years I'll bother eating a pomegranate. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, no, they taste really good, but you really want a machine or like
I can just shove
assembly
a handful
line.
of raspberries right in my mouth.
Yeah. You just want like a team of people just on a conveyor belt disassembling these crabs for you, so you can make like crab stuff with their meat.
Yeah, the only reason we eat crabs is just because we have industrial machinery. Or if they have soft shells.
They're easy to catch.
Those idiots.
They're easy to catch, but
They're
at a
easy to
price.
catch,
Like if you have to expend 200
Wow,
calories and you get 200 calories from it,
Yeah.
you're living on a taut line. But no, like I feel like shellfish they're probably the best.
Poison? Yeah, the Bible says so.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I mean, like in terms of like an animal where you have minimal amount of work and like high quality calories, that's probably it, right? Like a clam or like they're just laying on the ground.
There's some reason that
You're like
everything evolves into crabs.
you're just gathering, but it's like meat nuggets, like chicken nuggets, like just on the shore. Yeah.
Well, and even like lower energy like level is like corals and shit. Where they're just literally just water passes through them, and once in a while food is in the water.
Yeah. Cool. But then you think like how can we eat that? Like it's just a bone with some algae.
No point.
Yeah, no, like there's got to be like, is there not a single coral that people eat? Like some.
Not that I know of.
I don't know.
I've been on like My Strange Addiction. There's somebody.
Someone has eaten coral.
Yeah,
it's got that crunching on.
It's got that.
Yeah,
it's got that texture. People eat rocks, so.
Yeah, they seem like I guess they would at least be a good source of calcium. Like other than that, I'm not sure.
Almost to a detriment. You just develop, like you just
get like bone spurs. You're just nothing but bone spurs.
So maybe really everything's just evolving into bone spurs.
And
a crab is just along the way.
Oh
bone spurs.
Well, there is like
skeletons. We're all becoming skeletons.
Like I mean, you don't see crabs from space, but you do see coral from space. So like, there's what's really the end game here?
The real aliens.
Yeah.
They live a long time too.
Corals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's basically
Unless we
like
fuck them up.
Yeah.
Show them a lesson.
Which is so easy.
Yeah, put them in their place. Fuck corals.
It's taking a while.
You just like
fuck corals. Corals
just
fucking
warm them
pussies.
up a bit.
Yeah, just warm the ocean.
Put your hand on it.
Get out of here.
2 degrees. What? You can't handle it? Saw guys like working on GMO'ing some corals so it can survive climate change.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that could get interesting.
That could be.
So we're just gonna have a
monoculture.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have a monoculture of coral though.
I'm honestly so surprised that there hasn't been like a crazy genetically engineered invasive species yet. Like, because I know people are like fucking
like
hanging
COVID?
out in like. I guess you start with the small ones first, right? But like I don't like they're making pig people and shit. Like someone didn't make a spider that just takes over all the spiders. Like.
I'm
surprised that hasn't.
Yeah, I am surprised that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I guess there's the.
Aren't they gonna mess with mosquitoes?
Killer bees is probably the largest organism that.
Oh yeah, no, they were created like in a lab. Like
they're taking.
Were they really created in a lab though, or were they like more like?
No, they were created in a lab.
They bred multiple species together to try to make the perfect honeybee, and then
one of the rejects.
One of the rejects got out. Like,
but that's through selective breeding. That's not really through like.
But it's
true.
Yeah.
But it's similar to like if I
meant. Yeah, in any way, some kind of like genetically.
But that's like it's a thing that doesn't exist in the wild, and it was made in the lab. I mean, like
it's like Monsanto based like corn that has the termination gene in it where you can't create seed from.
Yeah.
ends up pollinating other species of corn adjacent to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so now, I mean, that's scary. Like,
that's one of the most disgusting. Like,
but they're also corn's kind of a shitty food, but it's still food. When you got no food, corn is alright.
Like, Amazon and Walmart and shit suck, but it's like, what, you making food that can't make food? Like, that's how seeds work. Like, you're making seeds that don't work.
This can't.
Your business model is to make seeds, which are necessary for life, not work. That's the business model.
They did. I did hear that they outlawed that. Like, but they do make seedless varieties and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
they do work. Seeds will work if you try to plant them.
But
they're not.
But that was a real thing. They were gonna roll that out. Like,
my understanding was that when they sell grain to like poor countries, it has a termination gene.
Yeah. It might still.
I think they only sell hybrid. Yeah. Grains that can't reproduce the same product.
I've seen some.
What it is.
Some places won't accept those. Like when we donate like tons of GMO grain to places, like their people are starving and they're like, no thanks. Yeah. Like it's just like mostly it's like mostly glyphosate or whatever. Like there's just like
that's one thing too. It's like a lot of that stuff is just like not nutritious.
Well, yeah, no, it's like, basically just
when your point is like when you're gearing towards mass and like time to develop, like it grows super fast and super big, like, and it's nothing.
Yeah,
great.
And it's because
you'll feel like you're not starving.
But for a while.
You got wheat then.
But it's just like you get like, and they see this with like even with some like fruits and stuff like that. Like the faster that you get it to grow and the bigger you get it to grow, the less antioxidants and stuff that are in it, and often it doesn't absorb as many vitamins and stuff. Which makes sense.
Taste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it tastes like shit.
So size generally comes at an expense of nutrient density. Like, and you might get more corn syrup inside of it or whatever.
I do love me some corn syrup.
It tastes real sweet. But like,
so sweet.
But they create artificial stress for plants too, like for cannabis to enhance the THC or cannabinoids.
You do that with peppers, right?
Yeah, you do it with peppers. I'm sure they're doing it with fruits and stuff as well.
Yeah.
That was a big component that they were missing, like with a lot of these a lot of these things that we have found in the wild that we liked and cultivated. They had the properties that we liked in them because they produced those compounds to ward off pests and like different natural stressors. So like by like growing them in a perfect environment with no enemies,
that's not how
they just don't produce as much of it anymore, and then they lack those beneficial properties. Right. So like the resveratrol,
it's like a pepper only needs to grow one pepper, right? Really, the reason they grow 20 is because at some point, it was a problem. They're like, well, we got to grow 20 so we can get one.
Yeah.
But if you put it in perfect conditions,
and then it's just like it'll grow a bunch of big peppers on it, but they won't have the same types of like the capsaicin or the like some of the other vitamins and stuff that are in it. Like, and like most of these compounds are actually insecticides that are grown in them, and they just taste good.
Yeah, they
taste good. Because like
we have refined palates and pests.
Yeah. But we're basically because of our size, like we're microdosing a pesticide, and when you microdose these things, they have beneficial effects. So like me eating one pepper feels good or whatever, but if I was going to eat 4 pounds of like capsaicin, high capsaicin peppers, I would die just like the bug does.
Right.
So like, but that like that dosing or whatever is like is also like very interesting because like the it's all really just scale, like and the fact that we mix our foods with a bunch of other stuff.
Fucking love poison. We're like, oh, this poppy is cool and all, but we fucking like boil it up, put some other shit in there, dry it out, inject it into our veins. It feels awesome. Fucking love poppies. The poppy developed a defense mechanism. We're like, but what if we kicked it up a notch?
Yeah. And it's like you're bringing it real close to that. Like,
yeah.
So
like people cross.
If you don't get to the point that the bug is getting,
you just get right before the bug.
Right before that, that's where you want to be. Yeah.
I learned recently, apparently, dandelion root is a great diuretic. So if you need a diuretic, widely available, it's actually, I guess, fairly potent. So you don't need a lot of dandelions.
Oh, interesting.
In case you need to take a piss or something.
Oh, okay. Wait, it's a pee diuretic.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm not
poop
studied.
diuretic?
I'm not educated, but I know it's a pee diuretic.
It's just gonna make you.
It's a
diarrhea
diuretic means.
everything.
It sounds like diarrhea, but I feel like diuretic might mean pee.
Okay.
But
See,
I
that
think
word's
there's a
confusing.
common root name there, though. There's there's something.
For sure. Well, I mean,
But-
diarrhea is when you pee out of your asshole.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe Ea
It's
means
weird because it's
asshole.
rhea too. Diarrhea.
Urea, yeah.
Diarrhea.
Yeah.
Huh.
So like
This
You're
part's
so
not gonna
far
make it
off
fun.
topic. Yeah. What?
when the liquid comes out of your butthole.
That's our
Just
outro.
clean your kidneys.
Yeah.
Is that what it refers to?
Yeah, like
Diarrhea.
cranberry or
But
prunes
just
or
clean
whatever.
your-
are
yeah.
diarrhea.
Yeah.
Cranberries
Yeah.
and so
It's
Cleans out your
kidney
pipes.
funds.
Colon
Yep, it's
will
a
be
kidney
big.
fund.
Yeah. So we done?
We're done.